feet just a little wider than shoulder width apart. Just soften the knees ever so slightly and slowly bring the arms up above the head. And what this does is it builds the tension into the low back, in through the lats, in through the erector spinae muscles in here, at the same time as engaging some of the glutes. So the weight here is on your heels, and make sure you breathe through that. So as you start to engage the lats in here, helps to give some stability and some rigidity into the posterior chain, which is your glutes, hamstrings, and the low back muscles and lats in here. So you hold this here for about 10 seconds, and then you bring your arms down by your side, and you open up the front of your chest. Drive the hands down and towards the floor, and slowly internally and externally rotate the arms there. The windmill, slightly different and quite similar also, so feet a little bit wider apart. The weight comes onto the heels, arms come out in front of you, and as a counterbalance, so it looks quite similar, but the feet are a lot wider. Just soften the knees ever so slightly. So fold forwards towards the floor. Okay, so at the moment you can really feel the burn in the glutes and the low back, but you're trying to keep the lumbar spine neutral until it gets right back down there, and then bring the left arm up towards the ceiling. Okay, and up the other side. Okay, so typically you can do 10 one side and 10 the other, or you can take it up there and hold it up there for 10 seconds. And what you'll feel is on the opposite side, on the adductor muscle here, which is the inside muscle of the thigh, you'll feel a really deep burning sensation. So the glutes are firing up here, the adductor muscles are firing up here, you feel a really deep stretch, and you can hold this on either side for 10 seconds and repeat that about 10 times on both sides. So the third exercise we're going to do is the lunge stretch, and this is more to decompress some of the joints in the back as opposed to the other two, which are more to activate some of the muscles. So we take a big step forward, and then both feet are pointing forwards here, and you reach up as high as you can. Now from here, lean all the way over, away from the standing leg. And what you're going to feel is a big stretch through the front of the psoas muscle here. So reaching up in here, and you feel the stretch across the front of the thigh and right through that psoas, which is your main hip flexor, and you lean away from there. And what this does is it helps to decompress some of these areas of the spine here and helps to offload that psoas muscle. Okay, and then from here, you can come back forwards and up onto your tiptoes, and you lengthen through that posterior chain there and then back down. And what you're doing is you're trying to reach up as high as you can, and just helps to take some tension off of the low back from those joints in there. Hit that about 10 times, and that helps to just offload the spine there.
Squats, a real obvious one for cyclists, as it recruits many of the same muscles that you do out on the bike. So first things first, Dan, you stand feet roughly shoulder width apart, or maybe a little bit more, and then lower yourself down by your knees while simultaneously raising your arms straight out in front of you. But most importantly, you need to keep your back nice and flat, just as Dan is doing here. Now this sort of exercise you can do in different sorts of repetitions. First off, it's best to start nice and slow, nice and gradual, but then you can increase the pace and make it more explosive. And this is the sort of exercise that can help sprints or really short, fast, intense efforts.
Okay, this next exercise is a variation on the plank, which I'm sure most of you will have heard of. So prop yourself up with your forearms planted on the floor, directly forwards, elbows at 90 degrees, and then your toes planted on the floor at the back. And then get a friend to make sure that your body is as flat as it possibly can be. Now here is the variation on it. Matt is now going to lift up 1 foot at a time, keeping his leg completely straight, raising it about 6 inches off the floor and holding it there for about 5 seconds before swapping legs. This is really going to work all the core muscles, which are key for stabilising you on the bike. This next one, again, is going to help strengthen the abdominal and lower back muscles, which is going to help us in a number of ways. So Matt's going to put his hands palm down on the floor, knees and feet there too. And next, he's going to raise one arm and the opposing leg until his whole body, or that arm and that leg and his trunk, are almost completely horizontal and straight. Hold it there for 5 seconds before swapping to the other arm and the other leg. Now, strengthening the core like this is going to help in a number of ways. Firstly, it will help make sure that you keep your upper body nice and still and stable, even when you're going quite hard on the bike, so that all the power transfer is going out through your legs and not wasted by bobbing around. Secondly, it will also help address some imbalances which all of us cyclists will get from spending hours and hours hunched over the bike.
Because we use our glutes so much in cycling, many of us can become really tight in that particular area. So this exercise will really help reduce tension. So first up, sit on the floor and then cross one leg over the other, keeping the foot on the floor. And with the other hand, bring your knee in towards your chest whilst twisting your body out to the side. Now hold that particular position for between 10 and 20 seconds before then switching legs.
Leg raises. The goal here is to complete 60 seconds straight. Keep your lower back plastered to the ground. Lower your legs until your back starts to come off the ground and then come back up. If you can get your legs all the way down without lifting your back, you can do the scissor kick like Kramer's doing in the middle there. Pelvic thrusts. The goal here is to work up to 60 seconds of these. Using your hands for support, with no momentum or rocking, push your feet towards the ceiling, brace with your core, and come back down. Skydiver, back extensions. Work yourself up to 90 seconds or even up to 2 minutes. Here's your default position. 6-feet kick, quads off the ground, sternum off the ground. You can do this with bent arms or straight arms. Every 15 seconds or so, you're going to want to challenge yourself by doing the starfish position, or if you get really ambitious, you can do the modified skydiver with your ankles together and knees apart. Really push to get your quads off the ground on this one. Side planks. The goal here is to hold it for 60 seconds. Elbow under the shoulder, your body nice and straight. Don't stick your bum out and don't rotate your hips backwards or forwards. Nice and straight. For a bit more challenge, you can do it straight arm. 90-degree sit-ups. The goal here is to do sit-ups for 60 seconds straight. With a nice flat back and your hands supporting your head, lift your shoulder blades off the ground and squeeze, and then really control your descent back down.
So you're gonna go on your back, legs straight, arms. The key here is to really think about keeping pressure in your lower back into the mat. Never let that off, up or down. So come up, with your feet, and then slowly down. Good. Notice how he's keeping tension on here the whole time. A lot of people want to come up and then just airdrop down. I'll go ahead and do that. Half the exercise is the eccentric or the down part. So go slowly down. Good, come up. Good. All right, good. Next we're gonna do a back extension. So this works all your extensor muscles in your back. So what I'm gonna have to do is Chris bring his arms back, shoulders down, feet on the floor. He's gonna go up and extend about 15 times. Good. Perfect. What you wanna do is actually squeeze your glutes as you come up. Good. All right, next, now we're gonna work a little stability and we're gonna actually work the rectus abdominis, the front a little bit, and your entire core muscles. So let's go into a push-up position now. What he's gonna do is just walk his hands out, just as far as you can stay stable. You don't wanna see any sagging here. You notice how his back's completely flat. You wanna keep your glutes and stomach activated and tight the whole time you're doing this. Good. You're gonna do about 4 or 5 reps, and the last one you're gonna hold it out there and see if, good Chris, come back one more time. Now go out. Good, and hold. So you want to only go out as far as you can go and still stay stable. If you start to sag here or you feel pain in your lower back, do not go any further. Just go to the point of no pain. So Chris is gonna hold up for about 10 more seconds. Good, slowly walk back. Perfect, finished.
All right, time for the Russian twists. Start seated with your legs bent and your core tight. Really strive to keep your knees and your ankles together. Rotate from the shoulders to touch both hands on the right side and then the left. The movement needs to come from your trunk rotation and not just your arms. Control every move so your feet don't sway side to side. Again, do this for 60 to 90 seconds. Now it's time for the classic bicycle crunches. On your back, lift your shoulder blades just off the ground with your hands gently under your head or by your ears. Alternate right elbow to left knee and then left to right. Really point your toes and reach with your straight leg as far as you can, holding this foot 10 to 15 centimeters off the ground. Complete this exercise for 60 to 90 seconds. Next up, we have the Brazilians. Starting from that front plank position, and remember to keep a perfectly stable core. Alright, here's level 1. Just alternate between right hand to left hip, and then left hand to right hip. Level 2 is hand to knee. Level 3 is elbow to knee. And level 4 is the full Brazilian. This means hand to foot, trying to keep a straight leg. Do this for 60 to 90 seconds. Alright, here we go. Exercise number 8, rainbow legs. Starting on your back, with your core stable and engaged, start with your legs fully bent and let them drop gently to one side. Stabilize and lift them back to neutral, then let them drop to the other side. For an added challenge, straighten your legs. Do this set for 60 to 90 seconds.
Down at the mat, and then take a breath in and slide the right leg out and up. So you want to keep the hips level and maybe drop the right hip down a touch and lift the back leg up a touch, just so you can feel those glutes working on the right side. And then from here, rounding the back and then bringing that right knee in towards the nose, just tucking the chin in and then coming all the way back up again and raising that leg up, squeezing the glutes, the buttocks on the right side, and then coming back in and rounding. So we're just going to do that 3 more times. Breathing in to come up and then breathing out to round. Last 2, raising the leg up and then rounding. Last one here. Okay, and then coming back to all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And then just as before, sliding the right leg back and us holding here. Making sure that you just drop your right hip a touch and lift the back leg up so that you can really feel those glutes, buttock muscles firing on the right side. And then gazing downwards, slowly stretch out the left arm. You can hold here if that's enough for you, if that's a bit wobbly, or you can do a dynamic movement of breathing in and stretching out diagonally, and then as you breathe out, left hand on the crown of the head and slowly bringing elbow to knee. And then breathing in and reaching out again, diagonal stretch. And then breathing out and tucking in. We'll just do that a couple more times. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one. Stretching out. and then tucking back in, and then coming back to all fours and sitting back. And bring the fingertips or the hands in front, and then bring the knees up into a 90-degree position, keeping the feet stacked together throughout, and then lifting the feet off the floor, and then lifting and lowering just the top knee. So doing about 10 reps of this, and you should feel a squeezing sensation in the outer hip, that's glute medius working. And then after 10, just lifting the top leg off and moving the knee forwards and backwards in a pedaling motion, just to bring in a little bit of glute max here. And then from here you can come back to your clams, stacking the feet together, one on top of the other, and returning to lifting and lowering the top knee.